What is up, guys? Gary Oak here, back again. I had a couple games of this. This is Total War Warhammer. It's a fantasy tactical battle game, and I've saved so many of my replays to show you guys, and I just stop in the middle of sentences. I just wanted to show off some of the sweet battles I've had in this game. Some very neat ones. Show off some of the multiplayer ones. Let's organize them by save date. So, not autosave. Let's do my first online battle, and that was me using the Empire versus the Vampire Counts. The Empire in this game, I'm not going to show a ton of these, but I figured it'd be fun to do. The Empire in this game is more like traditional humanity. They have like wizards and stuff, and then vampires are like zombies and monsters and ghouls and all that scary shit. So continuing on with the channel update I mentioned in my latest little Inferno video, I can't get System Shock 2 to work. Something must have updated in my recording software or something. It won't recognize it. I've spent like the last 2 weeks on forums and everything trying to fix it. The replay's just shot. If you want, I can do a video with just the gameplay, or not gameplay, but still images in the background and tell you what happens in the story. It'd be anticlimactic, but you could just wiki the story as well, I guess. But yeah, so that isn't a thing. Anyway, let's fucking load. This game takes forever to load, and it runs like anus because I have a shitty computer. Actually, no, it runs really nice. This game does really well compared to some of the other newer Total War games. But yeah, so just looking at the units, I brought a couple spearmen. Spearmen are good at holding off monstrous infantry. Halberdiers, similar. Great swords, they're like my heavy infantry. Some basic crossbowmen, mounted cavalry, and then that is it's called a Luminarch of Hysh. And you can see what that does here in a second. But yeah, that's my main army. Got these Demigryph Knights. They look pretty sweet. Let's go ahead and pause this real quick, just to kind of show off the armies. Demigryph Knights, they're pretty cool looking. They're riding those. Here's my heavy infantry, my great swords. They're all heavily armored. Over here we got my Reichsguard, which are some elite knight units, mounted on some cav. I've got my front line of alternating spears and halberdiers. Halberdiers are just slightly stronger versions of spearmen. I use them to hold the main line, and then the spears for my flanks. I have crossbowmen. They're ready to just shoot fuckers. For leader, I just took a generic general of the Empire. This is him. We'll call him Steve. And then this is my Luminarch of Hysh. It shoots laser beams of pure magic by this guy. He's a pretty good wizard. And then this is my Lore of Light wizard. He has a bunch of utility spells that unfortunately I can't really show off in this game, and you'll see why here in a second. And check out my opponent's army. This is a Terrorgeist. What the lore is that this is a vampire who's went so long without blood, or so long without blood that it's driven him into a monstrous form, practically. Same with these. Vargeists are similar. They're vampires that, seeing this, like vampires lose their humanity without blood, and their sense of rationality. And so it drives them to be monstrous until they wither and die. Then here's Manfred von Karstein, the bald motherfucker. These are crypt ghouls, so these are just zombies that they've kind of thrown together with their dark magic. White King on his steed. Graveguard, that's their elite infantry. All spooky looking and shit. And then we have their skeleton warriors. Pan that about. Which are their basic infantry. Those and the zombies are like basic infantry for them. And then another vampire thing? No, a necromancer, which can provide healing buffs and stuff like that. So let's watch the battle, see how it plays out. Starting out, I basically want to try to move my dudes, get them over here, because I could see he was coming from that direction. And the flying units were a concern. I didn't want to get hit in the back. Oh, and hiding in the middle of all these monsters is a regular vampire on a hellsteed. Vampire Chan is what she's called by the internet. And so vampires essentially have access to two lores of magic. Necromancy, which is like giant healing and buffs and stuff like that. And then vampirism, which is more about damage dealing and debuffs. I have access to Lore of Light, and Lore of Light gives me more utility, some buffs, but for the most part it's things like stopping enemy movement, some offensive abilities, but utility is the big part of Lore of Light. Now, that shot by my Luminarch drove those off, and since my Luminarch is, the barrel is above my infantry, I don't have to worry about friendly fire too bad. So what I'm going to try to do is just take out chunks of dudes here. And you'll see that in 1 second. Because I'm targeting his leader. Since all these units are just animated skeletons, what's cool about vampires is if you kill their units, they don't have morale. Because they're the undead. Instead, what they do is they crumble if the magic weakens. So right here, I'm just exchanging spells. And I'm gonna get shot to fucking pieces. And then, bam. See, he was too busy distracted with that. Didn't really hit him, but just huge blob of infantry dead right there. And he was distracted trying to kill my light wizard. Luminarch of his is just going to keep taking pot shots. And he's going to retreat to try to get out of the range, but the range is just so ridiculous. And he's going to try to dodge it, but too little too late. And just like that, so you'll see he'll start glowing red, and that's when they start crumbling. Here I fucked up. I'm going to position my light wizard in a way that his magic missiles will hit my front line instead of actually hitting him. And that was just poor positioning on my end. But here's another shot from the Luminarch. Going to hit the Necromancer. Keep him from buffing up and healing his units. Really just being a pain in the ass with that. We can go ahead and just fast forward this a little bit, the standoff. So I'm going to do right there, I killed his leader, so that's a big morale penalty, and his Necromancer will be the first to really suffer from it. But you can see the red bar is their health, and the bar under that is morale. Yellow bars are the ammunition, and he was going to go in for an assault. I moved up my crossbows, start peppering those guys. Just a little bit of harassment to weaken them up. But I'm slowly marching my men forward, letting my presence be known. And he's falling back into the woods, trying to get cover from that Luminarch. Which is fine by me. Because right now it's just a positioning game. This is where it gets a bit dull, so I'll fast forward it even more. I was going to move my Luminarch to take shots again, but I realized between the trees, how fast they fly, I didn't want to get them out of position just to do some damage. I was going to let my knights and some crossbowmen and my reserves kind of cover that. Oh, here's my light wizard. Guess he hasn't died yet. Must be thinking of another battle. I swore he died. Must have just lost track of him. Or I haven't done the part where I fucked up yet. Right now I'm just marching my infantry forward. Try to goad them out of coming out. I want to hit that necromancer again. Miss the necromancer, but fuck up another line of skeleton warriors. Which his units... Well, go ahead and go back to normal speed. So right now we've got my crossbows peppering those, and here come his monstrous infantry trying to break my lines. But I have my cavalry in reserve for this exact reason. They're going to try to kill my Luminarch, which I figured they would. So I have them, my general. My crossbows are going to get fucking ate. Like, these are monsters, clearly. But it's actually a pretty good fight right now. We're doing pretty good. Holding lines. Here comes his main line into my main line. And just all that blood, mess, and the game shaking from just the weight of the units moving around. But that red crumbling effect, you can see it already. And that's just from them crumbling from weak magic holding them together at this point. And, oh, just missed it. Huge cavalry charge into the rear of his main line. Really proud of that. Just completely crippled the right flank. I'm going to cycle those out. That's called cycle charging, because cavalry aren't good for long standstill fights. What they're ideal for is doing this, the impact of the weight of the horse and everything into the infantry is what deals the most damage. So it's called cycling, when you just take them out and charge them back into the rear. But you can see, with no leadership, they're all just going to start crumbling into dust like that. That whole infantry line just collapsed. But that's the battle. Like I said, I have a lot of replays like this. If you guys want to watch more replays like this, I can definitely keep recording it, or if it's just not something you guys are into, I can move on. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Remember to rate the video, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.